Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Back from a couple days break. So we're going to be playing a couple new decks, and I'll kind of allude why in a sec, but we are going to start things off with a Rakdos Sacrifice deck, or Sakdos. So Rakdos is red and black. This archetype sometimes referred to as Aristocrats, which is an ode to an old archetype where you sack your own creatures for value. So effectively what we're trying to do is whenever we sack a creature with Mayhem Devil, we get a trigger. Deals damage. With Priest of Forgotten God, it gives us card advantage and mana. So there's ways around that. Pair that with like Midnight Reaper to draw cards, or Judith as well to deal incidental damage, and you could kind of kill your opponent that way. With the printing of Woe Strider, we have an unconditional sacrifice outlet. So you can basically get to a point where if you have one or two Mayhem Devils out in a big board, you can sacrifice your entire board with a bunch of triggers to kind of combo kill your opponent. So it's an interesting archetype there. So really what we're adding to this deck, so we have Cat Oven, which is kind of a staple. You have Gutterbones, which could keep coming back, which works well with Priest. Claim of the Firstborn lets us steal our opponent's creatures if they're 3 CMC or less and sacrifice them. You can also target your own Priest or any of your creatures to give them haste, so kind of a surprise attack. And then Rix Maadi Reveler is another way for card advantage. It's easy to turn on Spectacle in our deck. And then a couple Kroxas as a late game threat. It's a little bit bigger body and forces some disruption in the main board. Mana base wise, we're opting for no temples and instead the Fabled Passage. Ideally you want your lands to come into play untapped, but this also triggers with the Mayhem Devil. So a lot of what you're trying to do is get a Devil out every time with Cat Oven. You deal a lot of damage that way there. Sideboard wise, so majority of this list I pulled off a recent 5.0. I made some tweaks. I put Kroxa in, I added Judith. I went down one Priest of the Forgotten Gods, mainly because in this particular instance there's a lot of mono red going around and Priest doesn't line up well against that. And then against board wipes it's not as good against say like a blue-white control. Sideboard wise, made a little couple of tweaks there. So we have 4 discard spells in Drill Bit and Agonizing Remorse. I want to do a split to have an exile effect. Epic Downfall exiles big creatures. Noxious Grasp for green and white things. Angrath's Rampage is a clean answer to Dream Trawler that gets around the protection. 1 Freaka's Liberation to mainly for... This is actually pretty useful even against the Dream Trawler matchups, all the enchantments they bring in. But also we can get them to sack Dream Trawler, and then some Tibalts to turn off life gain if we're playing against like Dream Trawler again, or like mono white aggro, something like that. So it's pretty much the list. We're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. So part of the reason I'm trying to test out a couple decks is we made it. Mythic Qualifier, which I think is in 2 weekends on the Saturday. So it's best of 3, whereas we got to the Mythic rank with a best of 1 deck. So I don't know how my Doom Foretold list is going to fare in best of 3, so I want to test out a couple different decks. Generally in like narrow win circumstances, I don't like playing 3-color decks. I want to limit the amount of losing to our own mana base. So generally these proactive decks are better than reactive decks. So this deck can kind of do its own thing and win without worrying about our opponent. So I want to test this out. I also have Titans Fan, another streamer, and Aether Hub content creators, mono red list I'm testing out, and I got a couple blue-white lists I want to test out. So I'm probably going to go with something like this, but I'm going to test them out between the stream and online. If you have any good decks, someone mentioned a kind of Jund mid-range deck. Anything that you think is interesting, let me know. Going to be seeing what works out best for the tournament. So like always, I'll play a best of 3, maybe 2, depending on how fast we go, and then play a couple best of 1s. We can get started. Really pleased about making it this month. Last month. This month I haven't been doing as well. Might just be early. Keep like going on weird streaks, like win a lot, lose a lot. So we'll see how it goes. If you are tuning into the channel and you're catching this on YouTube, as always, if you can drop a like or a sub, both are free and easy ways to help out the channel. Otherwise, as always, if you enjoy the content, do leave a, like really any support really helps. Sorry, kind of mentally a little out of it today. We got hit with a snowstorm. I slept through my alarm today. Just a lot of hecticness. So this is likely Fires, Jeskai Fires. So with this hand here, we have Rix Maadi to fill our hand again, and then this Midnight Reaper works well with a board wipe. So I'm going to go Familiar here, and then Fabled Passage for a red source. And then drop the Midnight Reaper. So I think based on that, do we want Rix Maadi? I think we do, because it lets us play if they have Teferi better. And we actually have quite a few lands here, so I'm okay to drop the Fabled Passage. Okay, we got an Oven, which is actually really good, because that turns off the Teferi bounce if they have it. If they have Clarion here, it kind of sucks. So I'm going to go Midnight Reaper here. If they kill it, it replaces itself. So if we were on the play, that sequence would have been a lot better for us because we would have had Reaper down before the Clarion and we would have drawn 3. It's fine. They 1-for-1 themselves and we get this back. Do we have double red in the deck? I think we just got a Mountain here just to be safe. Just play out Judith. They just go defensive here. So I actually like... So the thing is, if they block here, we just shoot the damage at the Sphinx anyways. So it's kind of a free attack. And then we can set up with Priest to go Woe Strider next turn, so let's do that. Woe Strider is nice with Priest because it basically creates 2 bodies on its own. It's a lot more useful than like Lazateth Reaver. This deck, when they don't get fires out, is a lot weaker. Okay, so the Cavalier here. They refill. So I'm kind of dumping my hand as well. Actually, I should have left the red up. In case we drew like Midnight Reaper. Or Mayhem Devil, sorry. So Judith will just throw the damage here. So I can go Woe Strider here. And then just pass the turn. On end step, I can sack this, get the cat back, and then start looping the cat afterwards. Teferi's fine. Do I want to sack the Priest? Doing so takes him off to Teferi. Yeah, so we kind of just take him out that way. So this is what I was saying, like the opponent kind of stumbled, we just did our thing. So in this matchup, Agonizing Remorse, the downfalls are nice. The Noxious Grasps, not really that many, like it's Kenrith, but not really that great. There's the Drill Bits, but probably just like Farika. Forces them to sacrifice, like they're... I'm gonna get rid of the Priests on the play. Claim's actually really bad in this matchup. They don't really have much to steal, so let's bring in the drill bits. Or do we even want the drill bits or just the Angrath Rampage? Just kind of clear their board and go from there. The nice thing too is Woe Strider and oh, okay, this sounds awful. Okay, this sounds much better. So I'm going to put this back. So normally I'd like to lead on like the Blood Crypt, but I think here I'm just going to get this out of the way. Get a swamp. Because I want my curve to come out to guarantee I get out one of my 3-drops. And I want to go, I have to go swamp there. We're mostly base black. So this can hopefully disrupt their hand. Okay, so we got rid of a board wipe, which is nice. So I can go Woe Strider. I think we go Woe Strider. Because if they play Teferi and bounce this, I can just sack the token. If not, I can follow it up with Mayhem Devil. So that's fine for it to be killed. Let's scry. Don't want any more lands. Now we have 2 escape threats that come in handy later on. Thought we put you to the bottom. It doesn't matter. Just hold up a mountain. So opponents just got a bunch of 1-for-1 removal. That one's a little awkward because we don't get... so it might be fires. We don't get the card draw. You know what, I should have led on the oven in case they had an instant speed effect. So here now, if they have targeted removal, I can just oven it. That puts another card in the graveyard. Kind of want another land. I want to save this for when we can get some like instant value out of it. Did they bring in counter spells? So sacking this turns off Bone Crusher from coming in. So they lose that effect. That actually wasn't too bad because we drew Gutterbones for the turn. So that gives us another play. And now we can scry to try to find some other stuff. We don't need a castle. I don't think we're ready for a second devil yet. So a little unfortunate. Don't have too much going on. So I can get back Kroxa. But Kroxa means I have to exile both my Woe Striders, which I'm not crazy about. So I think we just wait. So I can sack this food to deal a point of damage to them. But I think we do it on our turn just in case. Okay, so we got Fabled Passage. So Fabled Passage can attack the Sphinx. I can get Kroxa back after. So I can do, yeah, I can do everything. So put a point of damage there. So I can do 2 here. And then still have enough. That puts an extra point of damage on them. And then we just get Kroxa back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably just a Woe Strider. And this is why I like having these escape threats. It's kind of virtual card advantage. Okay, so they get around that, but they're going to take some damage here. Sweet. Just took them out. Odd we didn't see fires either of the 2 games. I'm just going to give Arena a quick reset. When we're playing best of 3, the games sometimes go long, so I just don't want it to run it through. Client's a little picky at times when I'm streaming. Let's run another one. Get our dailies. They're the generic dailies of play 25 lands, which you just play Magic and you get there. It's weird that 2 games, the games went to a point where they got at least 6 to 8 lands and they just didn't see fires at all. Why couldn't one of these be a swamp? I'm actually going to put back a mountain here and then use Rix Maadi to discard the Woe Strider so we can get it back later. Judith's actually pretty good in this matchup because it could pick off stuff. Now we're never going to hit a 3rd land. Come on. 3rd land off the top. The worst 3rd land. I don't want to show them anymore. We fell behind there. We're not going to catch up when they have it going. Tibalt's actually pretty good in this matchup just to kind of serve as removal. Otherwise, like, this isn't really worth it. This isn't really worth it. Our removal doesn't really line up well. I'm going to cut the priests. I don't like priests in this matchup. So maybe just So this can hit, it's not instant speed, it can hit Annex. That's pretty much it. So maybe just an Agonizing Remorse. Maybe just Drill Bit. Let's just play the one Priest. We're slightly, it's kind of tough. It depends who gets set up first. Them having Embercleave puts them at an advantage. What's with this mana bait? Like, I guess we keep. Not much we can do here. Okay, Cat gives us something to do, and if we can get Judith going, probably gonna lead with the Woe Strider to bait out removal. So this is non-token, so our goat doesn't really do much here. This is likely a pump spell. So let's just block Sake, get it out of the way. Gutterbones, it's fine. It's another thing I could sack this turn. So we're gonna sack Gutterbones, target Runaway Steamkin, and this is where we can start machine gunning our opponent. And the cool thing here is now I can block here. If they throw a pump spell on it, I can Cauldron Familiar it. They can't Embercleave me just yet. They can Incinerate. You know what, I'm not even going to take the block here. If they want to pump. This could be light up the stage. Let's just control the board here. Rix Maadi is actually nice because it lets us refill our hand. And I'm going to do this so I turn off the Bone Crusher from going to hand. Okay, so now we're a little punished because Rix Maadi comes in and we don't get the like we just draw discard. Actually we don't. Sorry. So at least we still get something there. It's discard then draw, not draw discard. So the order is different. It's actually sweet because I can do this, force their hand. I draw some cards. And then I get the Gutterbones back. Ooh, and I get Kroxa. And Claim for the following turn. So we're playing a little with our life total. But I think attacking their hand, we've controlled their board pretty well. Yeah, so they had a Rimrock Knight. Because depending what they play next turn, I can Gutterbones, Claim of the Firstborn, and then I can get back the Kroxa as well. Ooh. So what we can do here, claim the Annex, attack with it, we get the tokens. Okay, so that worked out pretty good. So Priest was okay there. Do we still want it? I think relative to what we're doing, I don't want more. Like, part of it, we drew it a bit later when they burned through some of their removal spells, but on the play, we're playing from behind. This hand's fine. Probably one more land than I'd want. I think I do block. Okay, so they Lava Coil the cat. Too many lands. And they got Bone Crusher. So this is part of the reason like I'm not crazy about it. So I wish I had a sack outlet for this. Mayhem Devil's 3. Let's just play the Devil. Blocks a bit better. I think I want to add some better removal on my sideboard. So I could claim and Kroxa. How's my library's not looking too sharp. And they got Annex. Really wish I had a sack outlet here because I could steal the Annex and do my thing. Get Phoenix in the yard. It dies so I can get rid of the Fervent. You know what? I should have done that. Stealing this first. I think we're dead on this one. The double Lava Coil really helps. They have 2 creatures. We don't really have the... Yeah. So I think we want to tweak the sideboard a bit. Lava Coils will probably be good to deal with like Annex. That matchup really just feels like a race. So maybe let's get rid of the Liberation and 1 drill bit. Actually, Epic Downfall. Let's do Lava Coil. It's just more flexible against some of the bigger stuff, and it can hit smaller creatures as well. Let's do some best of one games. See how it fares. Best of one might be just a cesspool right now. The matchups are pretty much slated between one end of the spectrum or another, mono red or blue white control. Hey Alejandro, how's it going? If you are on the computer, there's a little widget on the right hand side that can show you the deck list. If not, if you're on mobile, let me know and I can link it to you in the chat. So this hand's pretty solid overall. There's the deck list. So I am gonna steal this Steamkin. And then it's gonna be... So I could have waited a turn to try to sneak in some more damage, but I think just getting it out of the way is beneficial. So the only change, Alejandro, is we added in a Lava Coil in the sideboard. So I doubt they block here. So I'm going to go Mayhem Devil, sack this, and take out the Steamkin. Two Steamkins down. They don't generally play 3 damage removal spells. Okay, so we got Annex here. Ooh. So our curve has very nicely done there. So when you have the sack outlet out, it works a lot better. So that's why I'm just kind of mixing around with it. We'll run 1 or 2 more, see how it goes. Like that game, mono red was a bit slower. We're considering individual games were 2-2 against mono red, where it was really play draw consideration, which really kind of just goes to show that matchup's a race. We'll keep this hand. So the cool thing is with Kroxa on the stack, I can sack it. So with the trigger on the stack, I can sack it so I get the food token. And then they go on... So you don't have to worry about the escape, and I get 2 food tokens. So let's just get out of full control. So we got a Thassa's Oracle. Or Oracle of the Sea, Omen of the Sea, not Thassa's Oracle. This might be the Doom Foretold list. Could be Esper Control, or Esper Hero usually doesn't play those. It's generally not, at least from the lists I saw, but I like it as a kind of alternative disruption in the main board. So this turn's interesting. I think I do the same play, to be honest. Trying to attack their hand that way, because Rix Maadi's not gonna... Because then I can double next turn. I don't want to put this out there without... Nah, you know what? Maybe not. Let's do this. Because even if they have Othakaya, I can sack this in response. If they have Teferi, I can sack this to put the trigger on Teferi. So it's definitely Doom Foretold. Like 99% sure. think in this matchup, I want the extra black. So let's go Rix Maadi, discard, and then just play the priest. How's our graveyard looking? Yeah, it's Doom Foretold. So this Doom Foretold, if we can get... Okay, so that's actually good, because with Cat, we get all those turns of the Cat. Just going to give this Haste, because it puts another card into my graveyard for Kroxa. Actually, you know what? I should have Kroxa there. Because then I can exile a Kroxa to a Kroxa. So someone who's played a lot of Doom Foretold, this matchup's actually really bad because all your sack ends up doing damage to you. And then because we have 3 extra tokens, like food tokens, it works out nice. That's actually fine, because now we get Kroxa back from the graveyard. Yeah, the blue's usually for Dance of the Manse to Fairy, and then these Omens of the Sea, which really helps smooth out your draws. So we can just Kroxa here. Oh no, not you, Caddy. Almost clicked out of there. So this just forces more out of their hand. So a trick you have to watch out too with the blue is if it's only the Doom Foretold, on upkeep you can flash in Omen of the Sea to sack it before the trigger goes on the stack, so it's a way around it. So that's the reason we didn't bring this in, is in case they had Kaya's Wrath. We'll get some more food tokens. And then I have Kroxa to get the last card out of their hand. So I'm going to go Midnight Reaper first, so I get a card draw off Kroxa. So again, full control, sack it in response. So we get 2 food tokens. Yeah, we got the Dance of the Manse out of their hand, which is really sweet. And they lose that. So they were setting up for a fairly decent dance, but now we got him there. Alright, winning some games. We'll do one more, try to get to Plat Tier 3. So I play Shatter the Sky in my version over Kaya's Wrath. It's a little bit easier on the mana, especially if you're playing Birth of Meledes, because that'll get you planes. This hand is not very good. This hand is fine. All day Kroxa. So I'm going to steal their robber here. And then sack it. It's actually pretty good because I don't have to shock myself. A lot of our stuff is cheap in the deck, so I don't want him to be able to cast it. Next turn I can go Priest, try to bait out a burn spell. Do they have like Annex or something? It's actually not bad. So I'm not gonna block this turn. Or I'll probably block on the Scorch Spitter. They could have Embercleave. Yeah, mono red's really a toss-up. So I can go Rix Maadi, discard the Blood Crypt. Woe Strider's not bad. Because I have some blocks this turn that I can do, which is nice. Oh, that just sucks. So cat goes here. You go here, you go here. So block. Just get the sack here. I want to take this off because it deals damage regardless. Oh, he gets the tokens. Yeah, I think I'm dead regardless. Yeah, Woe Strider's not enough. Like, there's potential if it was a Mayhem Devil, because then I could sack with the tokens and stuff and machine gun their board. Yeah, mono red's gonna be tough with this deck, and I feel like in the mythic thing you're gonna see a lot of mono red decks. So maybe in best of 3 we can hedge that matchup. Opponent goes first. Let's try this out. Ah, jeez. Is this all that this rank queue is? All day mono red? Do they not have a oh, okay. They have light up stage. It's like if they don't have a follow-up, it's pretty good. Maybe we want light up the stage? So I think I lead on. I wish this was an untapped land. It would be so much better. Probably just going to throw the Gutterbones in front of here. So it's actually not bad. We got a turn off. Like, they most likely have a removal spell for here, so I have to go Oven. It lets us be proactive with our blocks, but if they have Embercleave, I'm just dead. It's most likely Embercleave. I don't think we can play this in best of one. Too much mono red. Let's run it one more. There's too much variability playing play draw, and mono red with Annex can go bigger than us. Okay, so not mono red. It's gonna be Gruul. Teamer Wreck, perhaps. Blue-white control? Oh no, it's Jeskai Fires. Let's let them resolve before. Got the swamp here. So I think we go, because they can have Bone Crusher, they can have Teferi. I think I'd rather just do this. Ooh, they ditch a Clarion, which is actually very good for us. The Super Friends version. So we need to take this off for Midnight Reaper to be decent. Fairy. So we're just gonna probably be too slow. Yeah, it's not too bad because I can do this, claim it, and then just take down Narset. There was a play I could have taken their dragon and attack in if they play. Yeah, we're way too slow in this matchup. This is probably just a board wipe. That's an odd one. So here I can Woe Strider. I think we hang on to this actually. Because I want them to play Sarkin. Down tick on it to make it seem like they're safe. Steal their dragon. They're being very selective. Kind of want to land here because then I can do 2 spells. So this kind of sets us up. Play the Sarkin. So they're playing just a Jeskai control deck. That's actually fine in my opinion. Okay, so they are a Fires deck. Blue Younglin. Okay, so we got another. So you can make something. Let's just set up here. Because even if they board wipe here, I can take something down. Haven't run into Super Friend Fires in a while. That's fine. You have a board wipe. You're gonna just Sarkin. Chandra seems weird in this deck. Don't quite have oven going. So let's just take this off a notch. We don't want more claims. So I'm going to let these both die. I'm going to just take Chandra off the battlefield. The reason being is it gets worse with thing. So I can Kroxa next turn, this turn, give it haste, take down Muzhong Ling. Actually, I'm missing the red mana. This gets a card out of their hand at least. Divine Visitation. See, that one seems a bit odd. And a little one more. Like, you're already making 4/4s. Why do you need angels? And like, what's the Healy? I guess with Chandra or that. Play the Sarkin. so they finally play it. They opt for the plus, which puts us dead. Can't really do anything. Alright, so this deck's probably a best of 3 deck. Best of 1, there's too much variability. Gets kind of hosed both ways. So we need to, like, in the control matchups, bring more discard in, and the aggro matchups bring more removal. So it's kind of in a midpoint. I actually wasn't crazy about Priest. And I may want to do, like... Rix Maadi felt fine. Maybe Footlight Fiend instead, as kind of pseudo removal as well. It's another cheap thing to go into the graveyard, so something to consider. So this is one of the decks to try. Come back tomorrow, we'll play something else, see what takes us the best for the route. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. As always, if you enjoy the content, you can catch everything I play on my YouTube channel. Have a great one. See you next time.